Hello friends, you're the Lonesome Gamer, and today I'm playing Armata Strigoi, which matches the Halloween season quite well. Now the game is by Marco Valtriani and Paolo Valerga. I think that might be the publisher here. Scribabs. And this is kind of special because this is a review copy. I mean, it's not a prototype. This is the final version. But it was sent to me with the question if I could do a playthrough. And I said, yeah, okay, it looks like an interesting game to me. So why not? And although I got the game for free, I can assure you I'm not going to be less critical or something. I will really tell my opinion here. What's funny about the game is that it says here an adventure with Powerwolf. Okay, I had no idea what Powerwolf is, so I googled it. And I found out that Powerwolf is a band. It's yeah, I'm not sure if it's a metal band or hard rock. It's death metal or whatever. But it goes in this direction. It's probably a heavy metal band. I guess that's what you could call them. And I think it's a German heavy metal band. And they invented alter egos, basically, and when they perform, they come with this kind of werewolf outfit. And they do there is a song which is actually called Armata Strigoi. And from what I understand, this song kind of comes from an legend. I don't know if it's Balkan legend, and it's about the struggle between werewolves and vampires, and that's what you do in this game. You are basically a member of a band or of the band in the form of a werewolf, and you are fighting vampires. It's a cooperative game, but you are limited in exchanging the information. And yeah, so let's set it up. So the game is set up, and I think I played as much so that I can basically give you an idea how all this works. I played a few turns, and yeah, let's see how this goes. So first, this is supposed to be a castle, and you can see this is kind of a modular board here. We have these things here, these hexagons, and I think you can basically arrange them more or less in any order. It says to check the restrictions, go to the home page, which I find a little odd in a rule book. If you want to see additional rules, go to the home page. But and I was too lazy to do that, obviously, so I just placed it this way, kind of random. What's kind of fun is there are these platforms here, right? And you gotta assemble them, which is pretty easy. Don't even have to glue. They fit pretty well, and you can place them there in the center, just like this. And then we have these here. These are so-called ladders. And you can choose where to place these ladders to enter the castle. So then we have a bunch of cards. We have action cards. These are 3 Powerwolves, and each of them have, I think, the same deck of action cards, basically. I mean, the artwork is different, but the cards themselves, the icons and all the abilities seem to be the same. We have here additional action cards. These two decks, and they are all the same. And each of the players can also get only one of each deck. And they will get them at specific points in the game. These are basically reward cards. They are items. Simply items, you can say. We should shuffle that stuff here. Okay, there we go. These are even more action cards, very special action cards that come into play when some specific event happens, which is kind of represented here by the tokens, and then the player who triggers that event will get this additional action card. These two cards here represent our vampires. There are two of them. They also come with their own miniatures. This is the lady vampire here. And I assume she is the little weaker, or yeah, I think she's the weaker one for now. And this guy here, the screaming guy with the open mouth. Oh, yeah. He might also be a lady, we don't know that, or she. But I think if we flip it, well, that could be a lady, who knows. So anyway, so two empires, and yeah, they both have their miniature. In addition to that, we have a lot of tokens here. We have here basically a monster cup. This is a cup for the monsters with a, well, yellowish red or yellowish brown background. You can see them, we will encounter them on these spaces. Then we have a cup here for monster with a gray background, which we will encounter here. And we have another cup over here. This is so-called reward tokens. Here we have wound tokens. If we take a wound, we got to draw from them and see the consequences. Blood drops and so-called fight tokens. Okay, that's basically it. And yeah, as I said, this one here, which determines randomly which of the two vampires will act. So at the beginning, as I said, you basically choose an entry location, place your ladder there, and then place a Powerwolf miniature. And they say the one which best fits your character or matches your character. And then that is a little bit of a problem if you play solitaire, because it is not that easy to remember who, which character down here has which miniature, and that's kind of sucks. So I said I'm giving him this guy here. And they also don't look terribly alike. I mean, there is no, these are clearly werewolves or something, and they have a rope and so on. And I mean, that guy simply doesn't look like that. So it becomes problematic. You just have to remember that somehow. This guy here, Matthew Greywolf. By the way, this is Falk Maria Schlegel. Definitely an awesome name for a werewolf fighting vampires. Matthew Greywolf. And the idea was to give him this one here with the cross. I hope I remember that. And then we got Charles Grey Wolf. And he is the guy here with the hammer. So I think these werewolf miniatures definitely look kind of cool, but as I said, it is a little bit of a problem, especially if you play solo. I think if everybody plays its own miniature, it's okay, because then you can easily remember, okay, that was my miniature, right? At least as long as they are not in the same room or so, then it might also become a little problematic. But yeah, for solo play, that's not the best thing. So, what's the goal of the game? Well, the goal of the game is to kill these two vampires. And in the first turn, they're not even in the castle, but they will appear as soon as, well, basically at the beginning of the next turn. So that means we're going to place them here on these marked spaces with a bloody hand, and from then on, they will try to defend the castle. To be even allowed to attack the vampires, we need to collect blood points on this altar card. And so that we have these points here, and depending on the number of players, it's a different number of points. For 3 players you need 3 points, 3 of these blood tokens on this card. Okay. Then you are allowed to attack the vampires. Once you killed the first vampire, the castle will start to crumble, which basically means in a random way these platforms will be removed from the game, which makes movement even harder. And yeah. There is this card here, the so-called Inferno card. By the way, the artwork of this is definitely cool. There is absolutely no doubt. Also this board here looks really beautiful. You have a lot of detail here on in these rooms and all. So we have a piano here, and I mean that looks definitely great. There is absolutely no question, no doubt about that. Okay, so we got this Inferno card here, and if there should be 3 blood points on that Inferno card, and that also depends on the number of players, the vampires win. And most of the time it's going to happen in a way that if we lose a blood point, it goes from the altar to the Inferno card. So this is even worse, basically, because we already managed to get some reward, made some progress, and then if we fuck it up, it goes to the Inferno card. And not only the vampires managed to collect something, but we also lost something. So that's really painful. And I think basically the main way how these guys can collect these blood drops is by killing us. If we are killed, one of the blood drops get over here, and then we basically are revived. We will collect full strength again, but yeah, it's going to be harder to kill them. So, at the beginning of a turn, every player will choose one of his action cards. And yeah, I'm going to do that now off camera, and then after that show you how these cards actually work. Okay, actually I realized it seems like not all the werewolves seem to have the same action cards. That's kind of interesting. I thought they do, but no, they obviously don't. This guy has, for example, here Werewolves of Armenia, which shows a wound here, and the Sacrament of Sin. Two very strong cards, obviously. That's interesting. Cards that these two guys don't have. Okay. So I guess I want to pick probably, yeah, maybe that one instead. Yeah. Okay, cool. So, and usually you pick these cards in secret, right? You just place them before you, face down, so that the other players don't know what you took. And that's a little bit vague in the rules, right? You are not exactly, I mean, you can communicate together, but only to some point. And that line is a little vague, because basically you're not allowed to kind of exactly tell the other player what you're gonna do, which card you want to play. Yeah, probably which card you want to play and which cards you have in hand. But you can still kind of try to come up with a strategy, with a plan, and yeah, so that's a little bit problematic. But I think every group will find their own rules for that easily. So now we're going to flip these, and we're going to determine now the initiative, or the turn order. And you can see here on the top of each of these cards is a number, and it's simply, well, the lowest number goes first, and then we just follow the numbers ascending. So this is 10, 12, 26. So this guy goes first. And for now, basically these things here on the left are the most important ones. First, you're going to move your werewolf, and this is the movement points you have, so you can move up to that many movement points. However, if you end up on one of these spaces here, you're going to have to stop, and you will encounter an enemy, and you're going to have to fight him. So we can only move 2 spaces here. But that is a good thing, because we want to collect these blood drops, right? Because that's what we need to fight these vampires. And you can only get these blood drops by killing enemies, because some of them will give you as a reward these blood drops. So this is basically what it's about. It's about killing as many of these guys as possible until you find enough blood drops, and then you attack the vampires. So now we got to draw one of these enemy tokens, and these, well, brownish enemies are the weaker ones usually, and not in this case though. So we have here an enemy with a strength of 5. Okay, that's not good, because as you can see here on this card, it says I only have a strength of 4 at the moment. So that kind of sucks. Luckily I have this symbol here, which is a stealth symbol. So that will allow me to, I'm not even sure what it does. I think I can redraw, or I can simply discard I think I can actually discard the enemy token. And I wish there would be some kind of real player aid instead of opening up this thing. It's kind of, it's very big, it takes a lot of space. Stealth, yeah. Flip over the matching encounter token, decide whether or not to fight. they can leave it face up and visible to all. Okay, yeah, so that's what we do. We're going to leave it here, and I'm not absolutely sure if I can move on now or not. It doesn't say I can, so I assume I'm going to simply have to stay on that space, and that's then the end of my turn, because usually after a fight your turn is over. So if that would not be the first round of the game now, the vampires would activate. They will do that after every single player's turn. But because they're not on the board, they also won't activate. So we try to do the same now with this guy here, good old Falk, and we hope that that the monster we have to fight isn't that strong. And I also messed up, and that's exactly the point. I used this guy, which I shouldn't have done. Yeah, that sucks. Okay, here's the thing. I'm gonna exchange these two miniatures. I hope. I don't know why I did that, but oh man. I said I'm gonna use this miniature. Did I? Yeah, for him. So I really hope I can keep these guys apart. So now it's him, and that is the guy down here. And I'm going to try the same. I'm going to move 4 spaces, 1, 2, 3, or 3 spaces in this case, up to a maximum of 4. And then I have a strength of 4, and let's hope this is this time possible for me to kill the guy. Okay, so... and awesome, it's a 2. Sadly, it doesn't give me a reward because it sucked so hard. Yeah, usually you have a reward token. You can see here, for example, if you kill the guy, you get a reward. That's cool. In this case, it is so weak that it doesn't even give a reward. So it is discarded, and basically I also... basically the same thing, I didn't get any advantage out of this. What I gotta do is now, because I killed the guy, I'm gonna place one of these tokens here. It's called a fight token. I'm gonna place that here, meaning I'm not allowed to, or if I enter this space, nothing will happen, right? There will be no enemy anymore. Yeah, great. So that wasn't too impressive either. However, because I managed to kill now a red monster, I will get this card. The first time I kill a red monster, I get this card. First time I kill a gray monster, I get this card. Okay? This card is simply a solid, a solid and strong fight card. And this is a little strange that the background is different. So the other people clearly can see which card I played, and they also clearly can see if I still hold the card or not in my hand. So then it's this guy here, and he seems to be a tough guy because he's got these special cards here, for example the Sacrament of Sin, and these cards are so strong that if you play them, you also take a wound. And so, yeah, I think first we gotta... that's interesting. I'm not even sure about the timing. I think I'm gonna take a wound right now. So I'm gonna take one of these wound markers, and it simply says wound. There we go. Now, when I take a wound, the first player who takes a wound... no, that's from a vampire. Okay, so I don't get a special card here. Okay, so I have a wound, and not sure where to place that. I guess I'll place it here. And then I can move up to 5 spaces. Yeah, I think it doesn't terribly matter. I think I want to simply move. Yeah. Let's go here. 1, 2, 3, 4. I'm going to go here. And this is now a gray marker. So that means I got to draw from the slightly stronger cup of the gray tokens. And I hope the guy is not stronger than 5. And this is a 4. So awesome. So I managed to kill him. If my value is equal or higher than the strength of the enemy, I managed to kill the guy. That is obviously good. We're going to draw another card here, this time of a gray enemy. And we're going to place a fight marker right there. Then we get a reward. And as you can see here, it's this symbol that indicates that we are allowed to draw one of these tokens here. So it's a reward token. And okay, this gives us a specific action that we can use, a leap action, and we can simply play this token basically, I think, whenever we want to do so in our turn. Okay, so I guess we're done. Yeah, guess that's pretty much it for the first turn. Now in the second turn, the 2 vampires have entered finally the stage, and these action cards that we played went on a discard pile. And I forgot to mention that you are killed when you collected 3 wounds. So for now he's fine. So again, the cards are played. This guy has a 2, 29, 28. Okay, so he starts. And I really should try to not mess this up, which miniature is which. So we start with him, and he can move 5 spaces. So 1, 2, 3, 4. We could go here, or we can go here. Draw another one of these tokens. And that is a 4. So that means we can kill the guy. We have also a strength of 4. Awesome. There's a fight marker placed here. And then as a reward, we get a reward card. You can see it's the same symbol here. So we're just going to draw the top card here. This is some kind of amulet, it seems. And yeah, that's another card that goes into our deck, and we can use this card as a protection. And simply play it when we are attacked and we would take a wound. We can use this card to block the wound. We could use the one-time effect of the card. As you can see here, that would destroy the card, to get once a +3 during combat. Okay. And now it's this guy here, the brutal one. And he played again a card which shows a wound marker. So we're going to take a second wound here. And let's hope it's not too bad. Okay, that is... Oh, wait a minute, I think I fucked that up. Oh, no, wait a minute. Yeah. Ah, shit. Something was wrong there. That was actually not... let me see. Yeah, I kind of messed this up. This is not just a standard wound, as I first thought. This is a so-called shock. So that means I got to discard an additional card, which is not necessarily a bad thing, I think. I could place a card that I don't terribly like, and then simply, yeah, but which card would that be? It's hard to tell. Maybe that one. I mean, it's a protection, which isn't bad either. Maybe it's not that great. Maybe it's not as good as I thought, because there seem to be no really bad cards. You know what? I think I'm going to discard this one. Okay. And then we got this token here. That seems to indicate that there is no stealth allowed during this turn. I think so. Or does it mean for the rest, as long as I hold these wounds? That is possible. That would suck, obviously. Honestly, I couldn't find it in the rules. I think I've read somewhere that actually this will probably disable my stealth ability as long as I have this wound. So that kind of sucks. Sadly, I cannot prevent wounds that I get from playing this should be here, that I get from playing, wait a minute, yeah, from playing a card by myself. I can only prevent wounds with playing specific cards that come from other players. Or not other players, but that come from the vampires, basically. Okay, so I'm going to move 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 spaces. No, I can only move 4 spaces. Okay, so it's 1, 2, 3. Let's go here then. And attack the second gray guy. And there's one gray in here, which should be here actually. Okay, and we have, oops, shit. We have again we killed the guy, which is cool. What's even better is, as a reward, we will get a blood point. That is awesome. Because remember, if we have 3, we can eventually attack the vampires themselves. In addition to that, we will get a reward marker. Okay. Cool, that gives us a +2 during combat. And if we need that, we can simply place the marker and we're good. And we can simply play the marker and then we could win the combat, maybe. So again, a fight token is placed here. Oops. By the way, if you're out of these tokens, because there are only 6 here, you can simply take them from somewhere on the board, and in this way you can free other spaces of these tokens. But it has to be in another room, if I remember that right. You cannot take a token from the same room. So, oh shit, I forgot to activate. Yeah. So here's the thing. After this guy's turn, I forgot to activate the vampires. So let's do that first. Let's imagine this guy stood still here, okay? Because that could be important. And, yeah. So now, we're going to check which vampire of the 2 will activate. So we're going to draw the top token here, and that is I think it's the apprentice, basically. So the lady. And we have down here a letter that shows an E. So the lady teleports now into the direction E. And that's a bad thing. That sucks. So she moves right here. Because there is a... You can see the book here, E, or the letter E. So she goes from here, right here, onto the next center space of the tile. And by the way, she could also move through walls that way, which she actually did. There is no direct connection here, but she can do that as a vampire. She can move through a wall and kind of teleports onto this tile. And now the problem is, she sees, I mean, this guy stood here before, right, down there. So she could now see two of the werewolves. Him, standing here, there's a straight connection here, and also this poor sucker down there. So, because this guy is closer, she will attack him, which sucks. And the attack is an automatic hit, and if we check here, she will do a single wound, right? And the only way to prevent this is to play one of these defense cards. So let's see, we got one of those. And yeah, there we got one. Cool. So you can play this card here. That's a defense icon. We play that card and it will then prevent us from taking this wound. Cool. That's basically it. That was the activation of that lady. And now, after his action, we have to activate the vampires again. So we're going to draw another one of those. And again, the apprentice will activate. This time, it moves into direction F. So let's see what that is. It would be over here. That's a problem too. So she goes here, and then she attacks. Well, actually, we got to place... We also will place this marker onto one of these here to remember that they attacked this turn. Because if they would not have attacked by the end of the turn, then they get an extra move basically. But they definitely did, and she now sees this poor guy here. That means he will also take a hit. Might consider playing a card, which he does. So he plays that card to prevent that hit. Okay. And now it's him. And he played this card here. 4 spaces. Now he wanted to go here. But he cannot move through a vampire. Normally, however, in this case, because there is a stealth icon here, he actually can do that. He's allowed to move through the vampire. So he will. Now what I find kind of interesting is this icon here. That is a leap icon. Okay, this is where the rules become problematic for me. Because it says here, each icon on an action card, reward card or reward token is the ability that the Power Wolf can use by playing that card or token. Fine. Abilities can be used at any time during the player's turn before the Strigoi moves and attacks. Exception, protection can be used at any time, and leap can be used out of turn by a Power Wolf on a collapsing platform. Cool. So basically, from what I understand, if you play a card, you can use the tokens, right? However, you cannot play as many cards as you want, usually during a turn, I think. Each player starts with 6 cards. Okay, each turn they use only the abilities shown on the card they played for that round. Okay? In the case of attacks by monsters, it may be possible to avoid wounds by discarding one or more cards with a protection ability. So it seems basically like, in general, you can only use the cards or the tokens that are shown on the card that you played at the beginning of the turn. However, sometimes you can play cards as a reaction, basically, like the protection ability. Okay, cool. Then again, it says, for example, here, you can play also this card as a reaction if you are on a platform. So that seems you can... I think what that means is that basically, in general, you can only use the icons or the abilities of the card you played at the beginning of the turn. And if you need to do, yeah, but there are two situations where you can play cards as a reaction. Once if you're attacked, you can play a protection icon, or if a platform where you are standing on crumbles, then you can play a leap icon to jump away. So I assume that I cannot use the leap ability, even though I played that card before, to jump, for example, now on that space. But I'm not absolutely sure about that. Gotta be honest here. Okay. There is also this space here, or this token there, and again we're going to open this. I think it is the pack ability. That is not terribly easy, especially if they are multilingual, so it's somewhere in the middle and not at the end. And the pack, is it? Is it that? No, it isn't. Great. No, that's not the pack ability. It is the mechanics ability. Well, that could be helpful. Maybe. Okay, I got 4 movement points. I got a strength of 5, so it would be awesome if I could attack. Oh, actually I can. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Yeah, that's cool. I can even attack a gray encounter. So, I got a stealth marker here. So I think I can move through the Strigoi miniature, and I got to check that. And that is really, I mean, okay, I guess after a few plays you got it, but a power wolf may move through a Strigoi if they are using stealth. Yeah, okay, and that is another one. Or by discarding a card or reward token with the stealth icon. So there seems to be another option where I can play a card if I want to move through a vampire. So that means we now have 3 options where I can basically play them during the turn. If I want to move through a vampire, if I want to leave from a crumbling platform, or if I want to play it as a protection thing. Now, honestly, that should have been marked somewhere, maybe on a card or something. They could play some specific, I don't know, just a red dot or whatever. They could use some symbol here to show that these cards can be played in specific cases as a reaction, because it gets a little bit confusing here, especially at the beginning. If you start this game, if you play it for the second time or first time. So anyway, we can move through these things. We have a movement of 4, so it's, and I still cannot get there. It's only 4. Shit. Does it help to turn this platform? I don't think so. Yeah, okay. So what I will do is I will simply move through this guy 1, 2, 3, and I will attack this guy here. He's not that strong, so probably will not get a blood drop out of this action, but hey, who knows. Okay, I easily killed him, and I get a reward token, so that's at least something. Do I already have? No, I don't. I might have forgotten to take this card last time I killed this guy, so I took that now. Yeah. Okay, and then I'm allowed to draw a reward token. And that is a +2 marker, which will possibly help me. Now we gotta activate one of these vampires again. Gonna draw the top card here, and again it's the apprentice. Holy crap. This time she does an additional wound, which sucks. So let's hope she doesn't see us, which is a little odd because we're standing right in front of her. But I think we're actually pretty safe there because she will probably move away. So we played this card here, which is an E. So that means she actually goes here. That's interesting. Can they be on the same space? That's a good question. If they would be, if that is possible, they will actually attack this poor guy because there's a long line of sight into here. But I'm not positive about that. So actually this guy will not move, simply because there already is one there. And if a vampire doesn't move, he also won't attack, which is cool because in this way, this guy is safe, this guy down there also is safe. So we're good. So that means it's the end of the turn. At that point, we have to check if the vampires did attack this turn, and because this marker is sitting here on one of these guys, they did. They actually did twice. So they will not get this additional free attack, which they otherwise would. Then we're going to discard our cards again on the discard pile. And we get to the next turn. And well, until now we managed to grab one of these points, and we need 2 more to be able to attack the vampires. At that point I'm going to load this thing up. I think you already have quite an idea how it works. And well, hope to see you on the next video or on lonesomegamer.com. Bye!